Welcome back, everybody, to This Podcast Takes Tokens. I'm Ryan, joined by my brother Derek. Thank you so much for joining us on New Year's Eve. Great to be with everybody. There's all of us here. The only thing we're missing, really, is Lieutenant Dan.
Dan the man.
Maybe we can get him another year.
Yeah, maybe.
But, yeah, anyway, so the question that I asked you the end of the last episode, leading into this one, is what is your favorite movie that you watched in 2024? And if you remember, it didn't have to be a brand new movie. Could have been something you saw on Netflix or on TV, or, you know, maybe you did go to the theater and see it. I don't know. Just, you know, something that you watched with fresh eyes in 2024 that you thought was your favorite movie. And if you don't mind, I'm going to start this one.
Sure.
So mine was Alien Romulus. I'm a huge fan of the Alien franchise, and there's been some good and some bad and some great, you know. Alien and Aliens is probably one of my favorite action movies. Alien's a great horror movie. Alien 3 is, it's Alien 3. And then, you know, I enjoyed Prometheus and Covenant. You know, they are what they are. The Alien versus Predators movies are, you know, they're a fun little watch. But yeah, oh my gosh, did you watch Romulus?
I have not, no.
Oh man, oh my gosh, it takes obviously a lot of inspiration from really like the first two Alien movies, and there's a lot of throwbacks to that in there, and it takes place actually between, if I remember right, between Alien and Aliens. So between the first and the second movie.
You know, if I'm being completely honest, I've seen Alien, the first one, or Aliens, or Alien. What is the first one?
Aliens is the first one.
Alien. Okay, whatever the first one is.
Yeah.
More recently, in its entirety, because Bruce wanted to watch it, so we watched it a few years back, and that was probably the first time I've ever watched it in its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces here and there. And then I know I've seen bits and pieces of another Alien movie where she's in like the yellow mech suit.
Oh yeah, that's Aliens.
Fighting the aliens.
That's the second one. Yeah.
Definitely not the whole thing, just that scene.
Oh my god.
And then beyond that, I have not watched I haven't really watched any Aliens. I did watch Prometheus though.
Okay.
That was good. But I haven't really watched any Aliens movies.
Oh my gosh. Well, sorry. I remember, maybe you don't remember. I remember being very little and like Aunt Kathy or somebody taking you to see Alien 3.
Taking me?
Yeah, like you wanted to go see it. And I remember like I wanted to go and I couldn't go.
Yeah, maybe we got there and I talked her into a different movie or something.
Maybe.
I don't remember it.
Maybe.
I don't remember it at all.
Yeah. Well, man, we'll have to throw at least the second one on here. Aliens is such a good action movie.
I've heard good things, and you know, I would like to see them, I guess, at some point. But there's so much out there that you know, until like we start getting in, like this is kind of like the whole reason why I wanted to start this podcast, is so I can have an excuse to go back and rewatch things that I enjoyed but haven't had a chance to watch again, and B, watch things that I haven't seen before that I know I missed out on, like the Alien series. But yeah, so they need to go on the list, or you know, pick your favorites or whatever, and throw them on the list so we can catch up on them for sure.
Yeah, they're great, and Romulus was I was blown away by this movie. It was really, really good. Like my hopes were like, I was optimistic, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Now, I know there was some other people that watched it that were like, oh, well, kind of like the old, well, it's not old, but like people are kind of comparing like the newer Star Wars movies to the old ones, you know, and they're like, well, there's too many similarities here. And they kind of do that some in Alien Romulus, but I don't know. I thought it worked well. And anyway, yeah, it was really good. It's my favorite movie I watched this year.
You're clearly who they made it for.
That's right. Yeah. Well, and Ridley Scott actually came back and produced this one. He's the one that did the original, wrote and directed. I believe he wrote it. Produced and directed the original Alien movie.
Okay.
And then he hadn't done another one. Actually, I think he did Prometheus and Covenant, but he hadn't actually done like a proper alien movie until this. And he's the producer. I don't think he wrote it, but like he had oversight over it. So
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, it was good. It was good, really good.
All right.
So what was yours?
That's fun. Mine actually. Well, mine is thanks to you, and it ties into our theme for the day. We're revisiting the whole year, talking about, what we're going to talk about, favorites and surprises and all that kinds of stuff. But one of mine, something that I watched the first time this year that I really enjoyed. I don't know if it was necessarily the favorite thing I enjoyed, but as far as, I gotta be honest, the last few years kind of blur together.
Sure.
You get older and the time stretches kind of weird. So I wasn't sure on some things, and we tend to watch a lot more like TV, like prestige TV type stuff, movies, sometimes, but I find that like what's going on with like TV shows to be a lot more entertaining more recently, as far as the batting average, I should say. I can almost always find a show to sit down and watch fresh versus a new movie that I want to see. Like movies, I feel like maybe one or two will come along every year that are new that I want, or every month or so that are new that I really want to watch. And then of that, maybe half of them aren't disappointments or are worth watching again or commenting on. But with that said, the one that surprised me the most and stood out the most to me this year was actually The Sandlot. That was the first time I had really ever seen it, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was a great family movie. I'm a little saddened that my son didn't want to sit down and watch it with us. He got kind of bored by it and left, but it was fun, and we enjoyed. My wife and I sat down and I watched it, and she, how your wives are sometimes
Passively watched.
Passively watch.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're on their phone or they'll get up and do something. They'll come in and out, which is fine. Like she's seen it before, but she enjoyed it. Like she came in and she sat down on the parts that she knew she remembered liking, and so yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed that one. It was a lot more. It was a lot of fun. It was more. Better than I expected it was gonna be, and I really enjoyed that one. That one, and I'll slot the other one in because we were talking about having a top 3 things that surprise us for the year, so I'll just swap out what I was gonna say for my other one, so we won't even notice the one's missing. But yeah, The Sandlot was probably something I enjoyed that I wasn't expecting, and that was something I saw for the first time this year.
Well, that's great. That's great. I'm glad that. I'm really glad you enjoyed that movie. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, get in the comments. Let us know what your favorite movie was from 2024. No shame in anything. Everybody's got different strokes for different folks, and
absolutely,
you can enjoy what you enjoy, and don't let anybody tell you not to. So
that's right.
Anyway, we're gonna roll that intro. And we will be back with the meat of our episode here in just a minute.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Your local video store card.
A comic book in your back pocket.
Games with no tutorials.
Music you had to discover.
And drinking water straight from the hose.
These are the things us millennials remember fondly. We are the Jennings brothers.
Join us after the streetlights come on
as we race our bikes from the top of the hill
right down memory lane.
Exchange those quarters, because this podcast takes tokens.
All right. Thanks for sticking with us here. So if we really hadn't kind of given it away, I guess, our theme for this episode is a little different than our normal format. And it's something that I think we're going to try to do as an annual thing around the end / beginning of the year, every year, we're going to do a retrospective, so to speak, on just kind of the episodes and the things that we talked about over the year. And we've got a couple different categories we're going to run down and just kind of go from there and discuss what we enjoyed. And So, first category.
It wasn't a complete year for us, but we'll still give you a complete episode.
Almost. We started in February, so we super close.
But we'll give you a complete episode either way.
Yes, we will. We will. So the first category we have is our 3 favorite episodes.
All right.
Do you want to start that?
Yeah, we'll stick with our normal back and forth, and I'll go first. So favorite episodes. I really enjoyed going back and revisiting 80s music. That was one of the first ones we did. That was a lot of fun. It kind of reminded me of just how much I enjoy the 80s music in general. I was on my 80s music playlist for weeks after that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. How about, So for me, that was, I'm assuming you enjoyed it as well.
Perfect. Yeah. That one I really enjoyed. It didn't quite make my top 3 list.
All right.
But in the same vein of that, so my first one on my top 3 list was our top 5 NES games.
Oh, okay.
I loved just going back and forth with you and just seeing what we each enjoyed, because I was kind of surprised that we didn't have as many match up as we did.
Yeah, that's true.
And which is fine, but I don't know, it's fun just to to me, it's fun just to hear what other people's favorite things are and kind of sparks conversation. And there's something I really enjoyed.
Yeah, that one I enjoyed too. And I like that one came a little later, so we were able to get out a couple of, obviously we were able to get Zelda out of the way early before we did the top 5, so that we didn't end up at the same number 1 or something.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And I think the other thing that we had, I think we did we do Super Mario Brothers 3 before that? And no, I can't, we omitted, at least Zelda, because we're we've covered that. But yeah.
I think we did we do Mario 3 or was it Mario? It was Mario 3 was the
Mario
first
3.
one. Yeah, because we did Mario 3 before we did. We haven't even done 1 or 2 yet.
No.
Yeah, that's true.
No.
Yeah. But we did 3, and we didn't. I don't think we bothered omitting 3. Even though, but I can't remember.
It's been almost a year.
But that one was a lot of fun too. Yeah, right. I enjoyed that one very much. So my second one, and these are in no particular order. These are I just kind of listed off some things here. Is the Toys in the Attic episode we did, where we had Steven in from the best little toy museum in Texas. To talk about his toy museum that he runs over kind of in my area. And we got to talk toys with him, and he was telling us all about going to what was it? It was talking about going to Panama and getting toys down in Panama and getting all these different bootleg toys, and how sometimes they'll do things with the bootleg toys that the regular toy guys don't do, and they do it better sometimes. And you hear that word bootleg and you think, oh, it's going to be cheap, it's not going to be as good quality, and he kind of corrected that for us a little bit.
He did.
Sometimes they're better, sometimes they do better. And it was just really interesting. It was a good conversation. It was a nice insight into a world that is interesting. And it was it's like being a collector without having to have all the stuff. I got to live vicariously through somebody who hoards it all for me. And that was fun. I enjoyed that conversation. That was a lot of fun.
That was one thing. I was envious of you, because you actually got to go and tour that museum and look at everything and so I'm the one on the outside, just trying to envision a lot of this stuff. But it was still a great conversation. I loved talking with him. He was easy to talk to, and he just had, like you said, he had good insight on just different things, and yeah, especially the bootleg question, because I remember asking him that, like thinking that I was going to get a funny response or whatever, and he like actually was like, well, some of these are actually pretty good copies of, if not better, of what what they're making over here. So definitely educational, and I did enjoy that episode. It's always nice to have, we haven't had very many guests on the show, but when we do, it's fun to kind of have a third person to bounce ideas off of or whatever.
Yeah, just kind of get a different perspective on too.
Yeah.
Enjoyed that very much. How about you? Second one.
Yeah, my second favorite was our Metal Gear Solid episode. It was
that was almost on my list.
Oh yeah. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
it was so much fun going back and replaying that, and just re-experiencing and discussing that game after all these years that it's been out.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is about that game, but it just, anybody that's played it, like one of our listeners, Will, he went back and played it, and he went and played it for the first time. After we did the episode on it, and he gave it a great review.
Yeah.
It's just one of those games that I think it still holds up today, and it just resonates with anybody that plays games. It's one of those games that you play and you put it down when you finish with it, and you're just you're thinking about it for days or maybe weeks afterwards, because it's
and
so
and
good.
it really highlights this kind of like interesting aspect of retro gaming. Like if you haven't played the game in the moment that it came out or around the time that it came out, there's this like weird reverse learning curve where you have to like unlearn almost how you play modern games to play like these classic games. And that was definitely one of those where it's like the control scheme is a little foreign for somebody who's progressed through gaming to modern gaming, but at the same time, if you go back to that time period, that game was revolutionary in as far as like how to play one of those types of games, a stealth action game. And I'm curious how well we're gonna do if and when, because that's not a question of if, but when we revisit something like 007 GoldenEye and that weird controller system.
Yeah. We'll see. See. Because you're right. It's unlearning. It's what movie was that? Unlearn what you have learned. I can't remember. Somebody out there correct me, or let me not correct me, but give me the answer to that. Throw it in the comments. But
put it in the comments for us. We don't know.
But you're right. It is so weird going back and playing old games sometimes. But yeah. So your third one.
My third one is this one was a favorite episode, and it kind of ties into our next category. It could have gone easily on the next category, but I'm putting it in a favorites because I just had so much fun with it, and that is Vacation.
You know what? I'm going to stop you real quick.
Yeah.
That's mine. So
really?
Let's discuss. Yes.
All right. Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
That was probably my favorite episode we did this year.
Yeah. I felt like that one was just a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. And whenever we recorded the episode, it felt, I don't know how to describe it. Like a little, like, I don't know, we almost felt looser. Like I feel like we found a little bit more of a rhythm. Yeah. We, as a podcast, we kind of took a step in evolutionary terms, as far as like what we're going to do or what we're doing here and everything. And we found a little bit more of a rhythm. Like we got a little more in rhythm, and that episode definitely helped with it. And it helped. I think I felt like it helped us kind of shake off the just starting out. I don't know, not cobwebs, but you know what I mean. Like it just kind of felt like we were really finding our groove.
Yeah,
we found it in that episode. I feel like
it did, and I think that was. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was like really the first comedy that we did, wasn't it? I mean, we had other movies that we'd done that were just kind of like had some funny elements to it. I can't remember. I'd have to run back through and look. But regardless, you're right.
40-something episodes.
Yeah, you're right.
We did like Ghostbusters before that.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
We had so that was episode 14 at that point.
Yeah.
Which like between on the next one, I'm gonna do a rundown for us. But yeah, we had Ghostbusters, The Burbs, and I guess Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You could kind of say is a comedy. Yeah. Before that, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just You're right. You're right. It was. I had so much fun recording that one with you, and we were talking about different scenes and like literally laughing about things that we had watched. When I think about when we were discussing when their cousin was like, well, Daddy says I'm the best, French kiss or whatever. And I don't know, it's just so many funny things about that movie, and it was it was so much fun. I look forward to going and doing, European Vacation and Christmas Vacation.
I almost did Christmas Vacation this year, and I was like, nah, we just did Vacation. I'm gonna let it cool off. Maybe we'll do it next. I'm gonna call it right now. I'm pretty sure that's one that we'll do next. Next Christmas is gonna be Christmas Vacation because of this.
Yeah. All right. Our next category that we have was 3 surprises.
3 surprises. Well, before we roll through the next category, I want to refresh everybody's memory here.
Sure.
As far as a rundown of what we've done for the year. And I probably should have brought this up at the beginning. I didn't think to, but let me give us a quick rundown. We've only done this is our 45th episode, so it's not going to take a minute. We did episode 00. That was just kind of our tester episode. Then we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Legend of Zelda on NES, Ghostbusters, 80s music, The Burbs, Super Mario 3 on NES, Halo for the original Xbox, X-Men just in general as a subject, E.T. the movie, RoboCop the movie, the top NES games, Dragon Warrior, the NES game, Lost, the TV series, Vacation, the movie we just talked about, The Sandlot, the movie, Terminator 2, Twister, the movie, Beverly Hills Cop, Independence Day, The Mummy. We were kind of on our run of blockbuster movies, I believe, at this point through the summer. The Mask, Mission Impossible, Jaws, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jurassic Park. Then we got into football season, and we talked about our favorite football games. Then we talked about just football in general, football life, things that we like about football, things that we enjoy about football, what makes us like football in general. Talking about American NFL football here. Then we did Remember the Titans, got us back into movies again. Metal Gear Solid, Toys in the Attic. We did a double episode, That 70s Show. We split that across 2 episodes because we figured TV shows, they kind of needed a little bit longer, something we learned with Lost. Back to the Future, Beetlejuice, Monster Squad, Shaun of the Dead, Tony Hawk Pro Skater on either Nintendo 64 or PlayStation 1, however you decided to spend your coin back in the day. No Skips Radio, that was where we talked about discs that we would put on while we were playing games that involved no skips. Like the theme was if you had a 5-disc changer and you wanted to load it up with music, hit random, and not have to worry about skipping a song, what 5 discs are you putting in there? No burn CDs. And that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Then we did Quick and the Dead, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, Gremlins, A Video Castle Christmas, Home Alone, Die Hard, and here we are, our year-end review.
Yep. Good list. Yeah, it's been a good year. So, of those, we've already went through our 3 favorites.
Yes.
3 surprises. Was there anything going through all that this year that we did that surprised you? Maybe not necessarily like the episode, but something in the episode, or just, I don't know, just surprises in general.
Well, I did episodes, but I'll be curious to see how similar we are here.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the one. Well, I'm trying. I think I'm going to go with the one that I feel like is probably most likely one that we were both surprised by, and that is the popularity of the Lost episode that we did.
Oh, yeah.
That really shocked me whenever we released that, and then for it to get, I don't know how many views it was getting, but it was up there. It's been unreal. And it's still, I think it's still our most popular episode on YouTube as far as I can remember. But yeah, like that one really shocked me. I wasn't expecting it from Lost. But yeah, we're at 9,386 views on that episode alone. Our next closest is Raiders of the Lost Ark at 1,500. I'm still shocked by that.
I know, I am. Yeah, and that was on my list. Like I remember like getting on there one day and like just seeing what the numbers were, and
I think it was like the first day it was in like the 500s already.
Like I text you and I'm like, are you seeing this? Like I don't know. And you know, as a we're a very small podcast right now. Like that was
grassroots. That was episode 13.
Yeah. It was something to behold for sure for us. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that was super shocking. So that was on your list of surprises.
That was on my list
as well?
Yeah, that was on my list.
I knew that would be on your list. Too. I'm gonna see if I can go. See if I can go 2 for 3 now.
Yeah.
All right. So, anything else about that surprised you with Lost?
No. It was just the numbers were just incredible,
crazy. Yeah,
I would love to see that replicated. Hint, hint.
Interestingly enough, though, that was only on the audio stream. The video stream didn't get nearly as much. It's got like a couple dozen views or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, the audio stream. So if you're looking at this on YouTube and you're like, what are they talking about? It's only got like 40 some odd, 50 some odd views. No, we're talking about the audio version of it that is available on YouTube through YouTube Podcasts. Again, very shocking. Anyways, so yeah, the second one. I'm going to see if I can guess this one from you.
Okay.
Was it the same as mine? My second surprise was The Mask and how utterly disappointing The Mask was.
How much I hated The Mask.
Utterly disappointing. And yet, our 4th highest episode. Crazy.
That movie, I mean, listen, there's been people that have commented on that love that movie, and I'm dead serious. I'm so happy that you love that movie. There's nothing wrong with you liking that movie. No. It was just something that I watched and that Derek watched that we were like, yeah, this really isn't for us.
No. It's geared towards a certain humor set. And that's absolutely fine. It's just something that I thoroughly enjoyed as a child, as a even into my teens, probably older teens. I enjoyed it, I'm sure. But then you take some time away from something. Probably, I want to say it had been a good 25 years since I'd seen it the last time. 20 to 25 years, and coming back to it, you experience a lot of change in 20 to 25 years, and I did not enjoy it at all. It's I did. I mean, there were certain points that I still like. I watched and I was like, oh yeah, I remember loving this, and I can see where and why I loved it at that age, and I can appreciate that, but it's not for me anymore. Yeah. I've moved on. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, let's see. I don't think I can go for. I don't think I'm going to go 3
Let's
for
try
3.
it. Let's try it. Let's see.
I'll try.
We can go
but
3 for
I don't
3.
think I'm going to go 3 for 3. So my third one that was surprising for me is Remember the Titans. It was better than I expected.
Okay. No, I'm not sighing at that. I'm just sighing. Too bad
I didn't get the 3 for 3. Yeah. That was where I originally. I whenever we sat down for this episode, I had The Sandlot there, and I got to thinking about it as rolling for what movie I saw for the first time. That movie, The Sandlot, for the first time. That became my answer to the cold open, and I thought, well, let me slot back in Remember the Titans because I was kind of between the two of those, and so that's another one of the surprises I had for the year was Remember that I kind of snuck an extra one in there on you.
Yeah, you did.
Got it in through the icebreaker there, but there we go. Remember the Titans was better than I expected.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't mean better than I expected. Like, oh, I thought I was gonna be disappointed, and it was okay. I mean, like, I wasn't really expecting anything, and it was really good, and I really enjoyed it. And it was something that I hadn't seen before. So, but yeah, that was especially surprising for me. Was watching Remember the Titans for the first time and enjoying it. Just goes to show you that just because a movie's really old doesn't mean you can't enjoy it.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
So how about you? Number 3, what I miss?
So mine was it was the Burbs episode. Like, I just knew going in that you were gonna love this movie as much as I did.
No.
And I was so disappointed that you were just like, you're like, it was an okay movie, like, you know.
Yeah. There was no The Mask, but it was okay.
No, well, but I'm like even now, I'm like, you don't even understand, Derek. Like, this movie is like, this is like my childhood. Like what I wanted to, I wanted to be Corey Feldman so bad in this movie, and you know. And,
what's funny is, like, over the last, since we've watched that, I've heard so many people comment on how much they enjoyed, like, not like fans of the show or like anything like that, or anybody that even knew that we had this conversation, just like in general conversation, overhearing people talking. I've heard this come up more times than I can remember. Like, a good handful of times I've heard separate conversations or been part of conversations where somebody's mentioned, oh yeah, I really like The Burbs is like a great movie that, is underrated, or I caught it the other night, it was on in the hotel room or something like that, and I just had to sit down and finish watching it, or have you ever seen it, it was like a lot of fun, or whatever. It's come up in these conversations, and I'm surprised by it. I really hadn't given it much thought or considered it, or even, I don't want to say consider it because I hadn't really ever seen it before, but, hadn't heard of it. I guess because until it was brought to my attention by you for the episode, I had never considered it before. It was probably brought up and just never thought anything of it. And now that it's on my consciousness and I'm aware of it on like a level of experiencing it, whenever people bring it up, I'm like, oh, okay, so it isn't just you. There are other people out there that enjoy it. It is a cult classic for sure.
It is. It absolutely is. Yeah.
Yeah. I was shocked by that, I would say.
Well, we can't all like great stuff, and
it's all right. I'm gonna have some weird ones I'm gonna throw at you.
I know.
I know you're not gonna like, but we're gonna go for it.
All right, we're going to move on to our next category, which is, I didn't really know a better way to put this, but 3 corrections. So,
for the record or whatever.
Yeah, for the record, just, something that we may have said or that we may have just didn't make a note of or something like that we just wanted to correct
afterwards.
Yeah. What was one of yours?
I'm going to start with my first one. This one kind of bugged me the most. I'm 43. Things aren't...
Old man.
Yeah. Memory's not what it was. Things happened half my lifetime ago, which is still 20 some odd years ago. So details get a little fuzzy. Things get a little mixed up. Back on our Metal Gear Solid episode, we were talking about Metal Gear Solid, and we were reminiscing, and I think I was talking about Metal Gear Solid 2, and I had mentioned that I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2 when I found out about 9/11. Well, Metal Gear Solid 2 didn't come out until after 9/11. I think it came out in 2002. So almost, I think it was like February of 2002, so it was a good 4 to 6 months afterwards, whatever the math is on that. Yeah, so I conflated it. I was playing Metal Gear Solid 1, replaying it in preparation for the game that I knew that was coming out.
I see.
And whenever I revisited that fact on the episode, I conflated that and for whatever reason remembered it as Metal Gear Solid 2. And even now, whenever I harken back to that memory, for whatever reason, I picture Metal Gear Solid 2 in my head, flipping the channel and everything. So, yeah, it's just a funny thing with memory. I've heard before that if you replay your memories enough, and you remember them with the wrong details, that wrong detail gets ingrained as fact to you. And yeah, that happened to me just now. I will admit it. I remembered it wrong. It was Metal Gear 1, not Metal Gear 2. It could not have possibly been Metal Gear 2 unless for some reason I got lucky enough to get like some weird advanced copy, which I did not. That is not me at all. I was playing through either Metal Gear 1 or the training missions, the second one
VR,
that they had, the VR thing. One of those two I was replaying through in preparation for Metal Gear Solid 2 that I knew was coming out a few months later. So I want to correct the record on that.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah. So mine was when I was re-listening to our Planes, Trains, and Automobiles episode, I kept calling Del Gus.
Oh,
and I was getting Gus from John Candy's character Gus from Home Alone. I was getting his characters Gus and Del, their names mixed up. And it just completely bothered me, but we'd already recorded the episode. What was I going to do? Like, have you go in there and just edit me saying, Del every time? Gus, like,
Oh, remember that time that Del was doing the thing?
Yeah, exactly. But, I got that wrong. And, but, at the same time, I can see, like, I'm okay with having that wrong. I was like, I had the actor right. It was just a different role, from another John Hughes movie that he was doing.
Around the same time.
Yeah.
It's like whenever we were doing the Beetlejuice episode, we could not for the life of us remember any of the characters' names.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought about it after that next day, or that later that night, I'm downstairs, and I'm in my head thinking about the episode, thinking over it, like, man, we could not remember anybody's name. Okay, next time I got to have like IMDb pulled up or something like that. And I look down and I am wearing, well, during the episode I put on a flannel so it was covering it, but I had on my Beetlejuice shirt from going to see the play, and it had all the character names across it. But yeah, so
I didn't notice that. That's funny. I'll have to go back and rewatch that.
Well, you can't see it because I had the flannel on top of it. I noticed that whenever I was editing it, but So that was that's not one of mine.
It's a bonus.
Okay. It's a bonus. But one of mine does kind of tie in closely with that. It's more about like Chicago, Illinois area in the, I don't know if it's just the 80s, because I want to say I've seen this more recently too, and this was kind of something I came up with last minute, so I didn't get a chance to do a whole lot of fact checking on it. I couldn't find much on it because it's kind of one, like whenever you go to Google search for some things, unless you're very specific, your terms can be too broad and you can't get anywhere in your Google search, and it's really frustrating. But so mine is like the police cars in those movies up in Chicago and Illinois, like they got the Crown Vic Interceptor or whatever, and then on top of it they have the giant red light for the police light. Like it's just one big cherry on top of it. I only ever see that up in Illinois on these squad cars. Is that a thing? Like, what is that? I don't know what this is, but it bugs me. And it was something that I meant to bring up whenever we were watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, because it was in that, like, one of the squad cars rolled up and it had, and I didn't know if that was just like something from movies that they do as like a comedic effect type of thing. Blues Brothers, another one, like they had it on all their squad cars. Again, it was a Chicago-based movie or whatever. And I think Vacation was another one where whenever they were going through Chicago, the squad car had it on there as well. But yeah, so that was weird. It's just really weird to me. And I don't know if that's like, is that just a Chicago, Illinois thing? Or is that like a movie thing? And then more recently, I saw footage of Chicago from probably the early 2000s. Like news footage, and I forget what I was watching, but it was probably like, my wife will like passively be on her phone while I'm watching a movie. Well, I'm passively on my phone whenever she's watching a movie. Yeah. Her movies just happen to be about serial killers and stuff like that. Sure. Like real life stuff. And so she was probably watching one of those and I was on my phone and I was half paying attention, but in any event, like a squad car was there and it had the giant red cherry thing on top of it. So it's legit, like it's a real thing that happens, but I don't know, I can't find an answer for it, and it's just really weird to me that around Chicago, Illinois specifically, all these squad cars have these big comically large single dome lights for the police cars instead of like everywhere else you see like the little thin bar on top of it. Yeah. Or it's integrated in the grill or whatever the case is. Yeah. I don't know, it's just always kind of bugged me.
I've never noticed that before, ever, and that's fine.
Keep an eye out for it.
That's fine. Yeah. Now I will never unsee it. Now that you've brought it up and said something about it. So thanks.
I might have to make like Blues Brothers or something. One of the first movies we watch, just so I can point it out.
Yeah. We'll do a whole episode on cherry cars that we see. Yeah, so my second one was in our top 5 80s songs.
Oh.
One song that I didn't think of that I probably would have put in the top 4 at least. Between 5 through 2.
Would you have bumped Girls Just Want to Have Fun for it?
No, absolutely not. Girls Just Want to Have Fun should have been number 1. That's what it was. Girls Just Want to Have Fun should have been number 1. I don't care. One of the greatest songs of all time. I would have put We Are the World on honorable mentions, and I would have added in Every Little Kiss by Bruce Hornsby and the Range. Because I feel like it was a big thing back in the 80s with these bands using like non-traditional rock instruments. Like they would have horns and, you'd have like your saxophone, like your woodwind. So like you would have all these other things, in the recording, or in the band as like a feature in the band. And it's something that I just feel like kind of got lost. I mean, we still have that now, but it's not as popular as it was back in the 80s.
I don't know. There was that big folk music craze back in, the 2010s with, who was that?
Mumford & Sons?
Mumford & Sons, yeah.
Oh, man. I love me some Mumford & Sons. Yeah. I don't even care. They're good. I like them a lot.
A lot of those bands, they kind of had it going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me of, I kind of wish I would have added In the Air Tonight. Phil Collins. Yeah, with that dun 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 dun. Yeah. That was game changer. Like that was like a whole new thing whenever they used that. Was it a synthesized drum beats or something like that? It was like the first time it ever used in popular music.
Yep.
Yeah, that was totally. Yeah, the 80s one. I feel like there's at least 5 different ways that we can do 80s music again, and we will for sure. Because that was a good one. That was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of meat left on that bone. For sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just do a revisit and just do 5 more.
5 more, yeah. And I think that was a pretty popular episode. I mean, a lot of people that I know that listen to the show, we're like, hey, we really enjoyed listening to that, and so, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Definitely going back on the list.
Yeah.
All right, so my last correction is another thing that I had, and I missed this twice, is another thing that I put down and did not get to mark, and that is the fact that Gremlins and Ghostbusters were released on the same day.
Oh, yeah.
June 8th, 1984. How we did not mention that is... I missed it twice. I missed it on Ghostbusters, then I missed it again on Gremlins. But yeah, June 8th, 1984, Gremlins and Ghostbusters released on the same day. That blows my mind.
So let's make a pact right now.
All right.
If either of us ever are able to learn how to time travel, we are going to take the other one back to that date, and we're going to go to the theater, and we're going to watch them back to back in the theater.
It's an excellent use of a time machine right there.
Yes. It's
the whole reason why you would have a time machine
That's
right there.
And
then if we hang out a little bit, we'll be able to catch, Back to the Future as well.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
It's like spend the year in 1980s, mid 80s, like peak 80s.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like this plan.
Yeah, let's do it.
So that'll be the culmination of the podcast as we come back. We're like,
yes.
All right, we're back from the 80s now.
Yeah. You guys aren't going to believe this.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah.
Last one.
My last one, Dragon Warrior. When we did this, I started playing it because I'd never really played it a whole lot before. I'd played it a little bit, but I did not get through the whole game, and by the time we recorded it, and I felt very bad about that because it's not a very long game, and I watched like some Let's Plays, or whatever, and so I could talk about it, while we were recording, but I ended up going back like I think a week or two after that. And I played through that thing in its entirety, and that is a fantastic game. You had such a good pick for that episode. It was a great game, and I apologize for not being able to get through it all the way, for not getting through it all the way before we recorded it.
You really especially that's another one of those, you got to unlearn what you've learned. Mm-hmm. You look back on and you go, okay, Dragon Warrior, it's an RPG. I got to reserve some time for this game because those things take time. Mm-hmm. But you sit down and play it, you can beat this game in a long day.
10 hours.
You sit down,
you can finish
max 10 hours. You can finish it. You got to go to town on it for sure.
Oh yeah,
you can't dawdle around, but
that's gotta be what you're doing that day.
Yeah, you could get comfortably playing it for a couple hours every night. You could get through it in a week or two, and be just fine.
Yeah,
yeah.
And that's how I did. I played it I played it some because I had it on my phone. I played it at home or when I was on my lunch break at work. I would play through a little bit, and I did get my level up. And then I'd just gain experience while I was fighting just to get enough gold. That's what I was doing. I would just build my gold up and until I could get the next tier of weapon or armor. And by that point, in doing that, I also gained a lot of experience. So that was just kind of how I progressed through the game. Yeah. And I pretty much just steamrolled it and, yeah, it probably total. It was about 10 hours that I played through it,
and that's one of those things that game was just great about is that you're chasing experience, and then you've got more experience than you know what to do with, and you're like, okay, but I need more armor and stuff like that. So now you're chasing the gold, to get the armor, and then you get what you need. You run to the next hurdle or whatever, and then you get there and you're like, okay, now I need experience again. So now you're chasing the experience, and you're never just going out, you're constantly one of them, and then the next, you're just going back and forth between what you're needing to do, exploration or grinding out for experience or gold or talking to people, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And it's not a one-trick pony. It just keeps you going, and it's entertaining for sure.
Yeah.
That's
it
why it's
was
one of my favorite games.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
Next category. Last category we are going to looking ahead at this year to come, and just going to run down 3 things that we're looking forward to this year. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start with kind of the obvious. We've been calling this shot since episode 1. I'm looking forward to our anniversary episode, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lot of fun. Ninja Rap, all that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I agree. Yeah.
How about you? What's something you're looking forward to?
I am looking forward to, and I think this is something that we could make a, at least an annual thing. Recasting a movie. Just any movie. We could pick a random movie and then we recast it. And I mean, we could do as many episodes as we wanted to. Yeah.
There's some we got something. That's a good idea. We got something to explore there.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So something else I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a tie. I've gone back and forth on this one. And I'll lead you down my trail of thought because it's a backdoor for an honorable mention. And that is, at first, because I think it's because the documentaries that are coming out, or the documentary that came out, I don't know a couple of them maybe, that I've seen, and maybe it's just been in my feed lately, I don't know, but I've been wanting to go back and revisit Superman, the 78 Superman,
with
78,
Christopher
79?
Reeves.
Yeah, Christopher Reeves, the original. Well, I guess not the original, but Christopher Reeves original.
Yeah.
And so I've been wanting to go back and revisit that. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, maybe I'll bring that one up pretty soon. And then I thought about it more, and I was like, no, I got to do Batman first. Batman 88 as a guy, or 80, 88? Yeah, 88 or 89? Was it 89?
88, I think it was.
88, yeah. Batman. Michael Keaton, Batman, that has to come first.
Yeah.
And that is something that I am looking forward to. I don't know topically if it goes better at any point in the year. If it doesn't, it's coming up soon. Batman, probably before Turtles 2.
Okay. All right. Mine, movie specific, is Men in Black. Which I think would be a good summer one to do.
We almost did that one a couple times this year.
We did.
A couple times.
We did.
Yeah.
That's my one of my favorite summer memories was going with you to watch Men in Black. And,
oh, really?
Yeah. So
Excellent.
anyway, I'm excited to do that one.
Me too. That was a fun movie, and there's a whole that opens a whole nother can of worms too with other movies, because there was a time there, mid to late 90s, Will Smith, he was the man.
Oh man, he was on
doing
top
all
of
these
the
movies.
world at that
There's
point.
a lot of stuff to tap into there. We've already done Independence Day, but we got Bad Boys, you got you're talking about Men in Black there.
Enemy of the
Wild
State.
Wild West, Enemy of the State. Yeah, so
Yeah.
much to tap into
Yep.
there. Yeah. Like I said, just from that Will Smith side alone. But yeah, that'll be fun too.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think that might go good in the summer, depending on how we decide to handle our summer blockbuster season this year. But I'm with you. I'm looking
We'll
forward
throw
to
it in
that too.
somewhere this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, my last looking forward to 2025 is it's going to be vague, then it's going to be specific.
Okay.
Watching something new, watching something for the first time, kind of like we did with Remember the Titans or Sandlot that I hadn't seen before, but specifically something I'm throwing on the list for this year that I want to watch for the first time is Field of Dreams. I've never seen Field of Dreams. It's a classic. It's one that's been close to the top of like old movies that I want to watch that I haven't gotten around to watching. And this year we discovered Yellowstone, and so Kevin Costner's been top of mind for me, and I've been wanting to watch some Costner movies, and that one keeps coming up as like I gotta watch. It's either going to be Field of Dreams or Dances with Wolves.
Okay. Oh yeah. I was so surprised. Okay. There's another surprise that's on there. I don't know if we did this like, after we were done recording. We have a little banter afterwards that we. But I remember when you told me you hadn't seen Field of Dreams, and then when you told me you hadn't seen Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
And I was just floored by that. What I'm glad, though, is that you're not looking forward to watching the Kevin Costner movie, The Postman.
I've never seen that one either. I'd watch it at least once.
Okay. Throw it on the list.
I'll tell you what, though, Waterworld, that's on the list. I want to watch that one again.
Yep.
That one was fun.
Yeah.
I remember that one being fun, and I want to watch it again. I just hope it's not The Mask. I hope it's not another The Mask.
I don't think it's going to be The Mask. But who knows?
Is anything going to top The Mask? I think we will have something top The Mask this year.
Yeah.
I'm predicting that we will have something top The Mask this year. And I'm ashamed. I'm saddened. It hurts me to say that I think it's going to be another Jim Carrey movie.
Oh, no.
I'm afraid of rewatching Ace Ventura and it being just as bad, if not worse, than The Mask.
Well, here's what we'll do. If we watch something that we think is a harder rewatch than The Mask, we will do some sort of ceremonious passing of the torch from one movie to the other for our bottom of the barrel.
That's right.
Bottom of the barrel movie.
How hard they fall.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing I'm looking forward to is vague. It really is. But anytime we do a top countdown, when it comes to specifically to discussing video games, I thoroughly enjoy those, and I will continue to enjoy them. I love our top countdowns. I love all of our episodes, but our top countdowns are a lot of fun because I feel like we get we kind of get some back and forth on I guess different. I don't want to say points of view, but we have a little more wiggle room with like what we're talking about. When you have a list that's a little different than what mine is or whatever. And
you cut right to the heart of it too.
Yeah, exactly. And I just I love video games so much, and it's just so much fun to discuss with you games, and that's that's what I'm looking forward to. So,
yeah, more games for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Listicles. Yeah, I'm with you.
So, yeah.
Well,
right. That is our kind of our 2024. Well, not kind of. It is our 2024 year in review.
Yep.
Like I said, we're going to try to make this an annual thing around New Year's every year, and just kind of reminisce and look at what we've done and kind of where we're going, and But
where we want to be.
Yeah. So, did have one comment.
Sure.
Over the time that we've,
over the YouTubes within the last week. This was on our Gremlins episode, and it wasn't really related to Gremlins so much, but Vangaloid said in response to when we started an episode, we were saying like there's our cold open question or whatever, and he said a cold open is unprompted, hence cold, unwarmed up. But then he said I love the episode anyway. And yes, we love that you love the episode. Yes. we do. And you are right. We have been kind of going back and forth between, cold open and icebreaker and, whatever we're going to call it. So, I don't know. Cool. Yeah, I think a cold open fit whenever we did it the old way. But now that we've kind of changed up, maybe we should just call it the icebreaker or Maybe there's a better name for it. Like,
yeah, we'll have to do some.
I don't like teaser. I don't like teaser. Maybe teaser trailer. No, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think we'll stick with icebreaker for right now. But if you got a good suggestion, a good idea for what we can name it, drop it in the comments. Let us know. Like, we are open to suggestions. We'll kick around some ideas. I think for right now we'll go with icebreaker.
Yeah.
That feels a little more in line. Maybe we'll offend less people with that one, but time will tell.
Yeah. So and let us know, like, 2024, man, we thank you guys so much. Like, we've just, we started this podcast this year, and we have just really been enjoying rolling with it and talking with each other about these movies and hearing your opinions on things and your comments. Keep them coming. Get on this episode. Let us know what your favorite thing was that we did this year. And anything you were surprised about personally. I mean, how'd you feel about The Mask? Or what? I don't know. Whatever it was. Maybe you didn't like that 70s show. And you're like, oh, gosh, I don't know how you guys were able to talk for 2 episodes about this. Well, I don't know. We really liked it, but let us know why you wouldn't, I don't know. We just love hearing your comments. Throw them in there. We read them on the air, and
we really appreciate your support, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And with that, I'm going to roll us out here with our next icebreaker question.
Sounds great.
All right. Any closing thoughts on the year?
2024 has been... It's been 2024.
Yeah. It's been fun.
2025 will be 2025.
Right. I hope it's better. We'll see.
But really, thank you for spending a little bit of your New Year's Eve with us. So,
absolutely. And whatever part of the year you decide to spend with us, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, so, next week, next year, there's that guy. There's always that guy. See you next year.
See you next year.
No. Next episode. Next week.
Yeah.
If you can have any confidence man skill, what would it be and why? Confidence man. Or con man, as they're sometimes called.
Yeah.
If you could have any skill, what would it be and why?
I never thought about that. Confidence man being con man.
Yeah.
There was an episode of Lost that was called The Confidence Man, and it was about Sawyer.
Sawyer being a con man.
Sawyer's a con man.
Yeah, confidence man, yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we enjoyed having you here.
Yeah.
Be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
We will see you. I'm going to do it. We'll see you next year.
Nah.
All right, guys. We'll see you. This Podcast Takes Tokens is a Clay Street production.